All right, you beautiful gamers. Today we are going to be choosing our sensitivity. I got a random wheel, completely random, not rigged at all. Not rigged at all. All right, I can't emphasize that enough. And we got three options for our sensitivity. So we got 110Z boy.
That's my name.
That's going to be your high sense. And we're just going to look up Tenz's sense, whatever it is currently, and we're going to use it. And then we got Sloths Be Jealous. That's going to be the lowest sense that we can think of. And then we got the middle child, the one in the middle. Go in the spin.
That's my name.
Yeah. Restrain. Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
That's my
okay,
name.
okay. Yeah, I'm cutting all this out. Yeah, I'm cutting all of it out. No. I'm cutting it out. You're not
That's
gonna
my
see
name.
this ever. I swear you're not gonna see this. No. It's a 1/3 chance.
That's my name.
What's going on here? Oh my god. I swear I'm not doing this. There we go. Yay. We got a first try. Already though. You guys did click on a video saying how to find your perfect sense of Valorant. So I will get on with the actual advice. Just a quick little disclaimer. I am not a pro player. I'm only a pleb in Diamond. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Just like most things on the internet, This is not coming from someone that's in Iceland. Also, another thing, if you guys are just looking to change your sensitivity around, that's fine. Do whatever you want. But just in general, the best way to get better is just to sometimes just set it and forget it with your sensitivity. A lot of people that are blaming their sensitivity, including myself, are just lacking in other fundamentals of the game, like game sense, or other mechanical skills like movement. Just because you have a couple bad games does not mean it's your sensitivity. All right, this is something that I did after playing on a sensitivity for like a month or two. Okay, perfect sensitivity. What is a perfect sensitivity, quote unquote? How does one get it? Or I feel too slow or too fast in game. Should I change my sensitivity? That's probably the questions you're asking if you're searching into Google and you randomly found this video. Or you're a subscriber. Welcome. So perfect sensitivity is not one thing. There are some pro players that change their sensitivity quite often, like 10s. Unfortunately, most of us aren't like 10s. And we can't just randomly change numbers for sensitivity and still get like 30 bombs in professional play. Like him accidentally having twice the DPI and him still dropping like 20 or 30 kills on Icebox in a tournament. Most of us aren't that. I'm sorry to break it to you. I know. I cried as well. We need to find what ranges of sensitivity we are comfortable with. All right? There's not one number. You're going to just have to pick one eventually. As I tell myself as well, because I changed my sensitivity quite a lot in this game. But you're going to have to pick one, just eventually. However, as someone who has changed the sensitivity quite a lot, and is still in, respectable rank, like Diamond's pretty close to immortal, not too shabby. How have I picked my sensitivity? What did I do to find my sensitivity? And what can you do to replicate this? Not my number, but the procedure I went through to be like, all right, I'll stick for this for about a month and see if I can hit immortal with a sensitivity. That's kind of the level of comfort that I have going into this whole changing your sense thing. Okay, step one, defining your perfect sense. Yoink your sensitivity as low as you can go. Now, as low as you can go doesn't mean like, haha, I put it on 0.1 and I can still aim. Like, actually try. Actually try to see what is the lowest possible sensitivity I can get away with in this game. Because for a vast majority of players, their sensitivity is way too high to begin with. Like, I was in the boat, I came from Apex, my sensitivity was like 0.85 or 0.9 when I started at 400 DPI. Okay, that's way too high. I mean, for some people it's not, but for vast majority of players, including pro players, whose average sensitivity is around 0.6 at 400 DPI, that you know, 0.8 or 0.9 is really fast. So for me, the lowest sensitivity I could go, including taking into account the size of your mouse pad. I know, you know, not many people think about that, but that is a factor. It's a logistical factor. You can't physically move. I can't physically move my hand to my table when I'm aiming, you know. So the lowest sense I would personally go is the lowest sense you can kind of squeak out a 180. So obviously this sense that I'm at now is my quote unquote perfect sense. So I'm not going to change it around right now because it would mess with everything. And see what's comfortable to do 180. Now I do a 180 like pushing my hand down, like swiping down like that. At least to the left, and then to the right I just like flick like you normally would. Um, so actually, that's why my sensitivity when I originally dropped it, which is 0.585, which is not like the lowest sense, but for like a medium-sized mouse pad, that's decently low. But that's why now like I can almost do, you know, that's like I don't know, like 220 degrees, like in one swipe if I try to go the farthest I could. So that's why I'm saying like, you know, I could have a lower sense to this, right? Technically. But if you see me like just jumping around doing a 180 right now, right? Like generally just like normally jumping to 180, I'm pretty much getting a 180 every time perfectly doing this swipe. You got your low sense, play on that for a week. The reason why you go as low as possible is to see if you can actually arm aim and not rely on your wrist, because I'm just assuming most of you have a high sense. I'm just assuming that. So you're gonna see, all right, the lowest I can go is X with movement wise, without like literally breaking my shoulder. Let me play on that for a week. And for a lot of you, you probably would actually start noticing that you'll be hitting a lot more headshots, because again, in a low sense, it takes a lot more distance to go from 2 points, meaning you have a lot more pixels, you know, to go through. So if you're aiming at like 1 pixel, you have a lot more distance in your normal range of motion to lock onto that pixel. So that's why for a lot of people actually lower sense for this game, and for most games like tactical shooters, is a little bit better just to start out with. Let's say you're uncomfortable with that, then try to do your highest sensitivity that you can possibly go on without losing control. Now, what do you mean by losing control? Like your hand's not shaking when you see people. When somebody swings on you, it's not like you're shooting a mile in front of them. You know, like generally speaking, like you can still have decent aim with it. Try that for a week. Now, over this time, you're not building muscle memory. You're just seeing like how your body or slash your hand slash your brain is reacting to this kind of sense. So after 2 weeks, I don't know, you can do this in 2 days, whatever, ignore me. If you really want to. Then you take the midpoint of those 2 points. And then for another week, I know, it takes a little bit. This method takes a little bit. Then for another week, you know, after every couple of days or so, tweak your sensitivity a little bit. So for me, the midpoint, I went from 0.55 to 0.68. So the midpoint for me was around 0.62 something. 0.62 change. So for like a day or two, I put on 0.62. And then for a day or two, I put on 0.63. And I was like, okay, that's way too fast. And then I went back to 0.625. And I was like, that's fine, but I could have it a little faster. And then over the next like 2 or 3 days, I just landed on 0.628. And I said, you know what? That's good enough. And then I'm just going to stick to it. That's it. Now, technically, I have won games in my personal highest rank at 0.585 and 0.68 sensitivity. I know I can, and I've got like match MVPs as both sets, right? Like I know I can win in those values. So anywhere in between is probably fine for me. But for the sake of finding a perfect sense, so I can at least convince myself that I found it, so I won't change my sense for a little bit. I can develop that muscle memory. Um, you know, I found that midpoint. Not too fast, not too slow, just right. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. Let me know if you like the video. Let me know if you want to change your sense. You know, don't feel like you have to. If you have a bad couple games, don't just immediately change your sensitivity. You know, this if you want to find your perfect sense, then take that like week or two of just understanding you're gonna be bad and just kind of figuring it out. You know, put in the work now so that in 2 months you can climb out of whatever you're at. You know, next season, right? All right, that's it for me. See you guys.